In this segment, I'm going to talk about viewport navigation in SceneDesigner. So here I've loaded up the ruins sample scene, and I'm going to walk through the various ways that you can move the camera around. So first off, the left click in the viewport is the selection. So you'll notice as I click on things, they get highlighted because they're selected. There are certain items that can't be selected, such as the sky view, which is listed as frozen. We'll talk about that in the selection segment. So that's what the left button does. The middle button, the scroll wheel, will scroll you in and out, and it's sensitive to what the center of the screen is on, so it'll scroll faster or slower depending on how close you are to something. The right mouse button will look around, so it's sort of a free look control. And now the scroll wheel and the right click free look, as well as middle click, which is a pan operation, those are true in every interaction mode. So no matter which interaction mode you have active, any of the look interaction modes or even the translate interaction modes, those will apply. So now you can also hold down the middle button and the right button together to do an orbit. This will orbit around whatever the center in front of you is, or if you have a selected entity, it'll orbit around that selected entity. Okay? Any of these commands that you do with the mouse can also be done with toolbar buttons up here. So if you enter in here, you're in pan mode, and then in this case, the left mouse button will pan us around. If we're in zoom mode, the left mouse button will zoom us in and out. If we're in look mode, the left mouse button will do free look around, and in orbit mode, we will orbit. These are, as I said, so I could be in pan mode here, and if I use the right mouse button, I can still do a free look around. So same with the middle mouse button will still pan me. So all that really is, all this mode up here is changing what the left mouse button does. And if we click back here on select mode, then we can select things again. Your viewports can be maximized like you see it right now, or if you hit the toggle viewports button, we'll shoot down into 4 other viewports. Each of these viewports, you have total control over which camera is being used. So you have a set of standard cameras in every viewport, perspective camera, which right now is really close into the scene. Let me change the rendering mode as well so it's a little easier to see. So right now we're in unshaded wireframe mode, which is the default for all orthographic views. You can change that to shaded wireframe mode if you want and get the lighting information in there. Or you can switch to standard rendering mode, just like anything else. And we're in a perspective camera. We can switch to a sort of top-down view, or side view rather. We can switch to another side view or a top-down view right here. And it remembers the position of the last camera you were in. So if I switch back to perspective, that's where I last was. If I switch back to the top-down view, that's where I last was. And the rendering modes are provided via plugins, and there's several of them in here. So if we want to get some performance, we can turn shadows off. We can do things like edged faces on the or a no textures mode as well, or even a no backface culling mode. So there's many options there. If you go to the viewport settings panel, all of these options can be controlled via here as well for the active viewport. The active viewport is the one with the yellow highlight, and the easiest way to select a viewport is simply to right click in it like I'm doing right now. And then you can, whichever the active viewport is, you can go in here and change all these parameters that you can also do with the right click menu via that same method. And that's pretty much it for navigating around the viewports.